You're listening to a Zaboys Media podcast.
Welcome to Make It Make Sense. I am Positive C.
Hey, I'm James Thorny Thornquist.
And I just absolutely threw Thorny for a loop because I mouthed and hummed the intro music and pretty much introed the podcast a cappella with the music.
It was quite intensely odd. I was like, wait, what? I just hear it.
I had to get the feel. I'm a drummer. You got to get the feel of the flow to really get into it. And we're going to get into it today as another 2006 movie comes into the Make It Make Sense, battle cage. I guess we would describe it as. What did we used to have on the Zaboys old school? We had the Royal Rumble, but didn't we have like a pit? Did we have a pit?
I don't know. There was always Thunderdome references and pits and fight clubs and everything. I mean, we used a lot of stuff. We had the Hall of Fame. There was so many different things.
It's probably a place where you can find some of that stuff that we'll talk about with Hall of Fame, all that stuff. But we'll get into that at some other point in time. That's not what we're here to tackle today, because Make It Make Sense is a podcast where me and James and whoever decides to join us at the time, we take the best and worst plans in pop culture and real life, maybe ours, maybe out there in the world, and we try to break them down and see if they hold up to even the tiniest bit of scrutiny, see if we can make it make sense or even improve the plan. And I'm not sure what we're going to do to this one, the 2006, I guess, cult classic. Is it a cult? No. That's Wet Hot American Summer. We were talking about that. Sorry, I got that. No.
This is the cult. It's not even a cult. You're right. This was just a pretty decently received movie, I guess.
It well, critically, no. Financially, yes. This is Failure to Launch, starring Matthew McConaughey and Sarah Jessica Parker, also with a cameo from Terry Bradshaw's butt, Kathy Bates, Zoe Deschanel, and Bradley Cooper, who this is probably his second breakout role after Wedding Crashers. He was in that movie. Apparently, he was would you call him a smug douchebag in Wedding Crashers there, Thorny?
Yeah. He was supposed to be very alpha. He was. He was a rugby looking kind of dude, and he was Bradley Cooper. He was a big guy, and he was supposed to play a schmarmy asshole like he does in a lot of things. Sometimes it's
true to life, maybe.
Yeah, maybe. Well, no, actually, I've heard he's a very, very nice guy. Actually, apparently he used to have an alcohol problem, and he's overcome that. But apparently, he lets people hang out in his French condo whenever they're in France all the time. Very loving guy, apparently very friendly. So just from what I've heard, I've never met the guy.
Never met the guy.
Yeah.
This is our invite to Bradley Cooper. If you want to come on, make and make sense, and explain yourself, Bradley.
Sprain yourself. No.
Sprain your ankle, explaining yourself to us here in the Zaboys studios. But yeah, we're tackling Failure to Launch because
Failure to Launch.
Yeah, we're gonna actually talk about two Matthew McConaughey movies in the next couple of episodes. So if you like Matthew McConaughey movies, the next episode will be the 2003 adventure, How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days. Mm-hmm. And so in thinking of the antithesis to that, Failure to Launch, because, How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days is all about trying to lose a relationship and lose people. And then this movie, Failure to Launch, the plan, hosed by housed. I don't think hose is right. I'm not slut shaming. I'm not slut shaming. That's not what I'm doing, because she actually doesn't have sex with her clients. But Sarah Jessica Parker has a valiant plan to make money and start a business that I think is an absolute failure at the very beginning because it causes way too much. Failure to Launch is about a woman, a Sarah Jessica Parker, who has a business where she takes men who are in their late 20s, early 30s, and haven't been able to make that step to move out of their parents' place. And she dates them, loves on them, gets their attachment away from their parents, and then they move out. That is the whole plan. That is her whole business model. That's the first bad plan in this movie. James, you are the one who most recently saw this movie. When you saw her lay out this plan to the Bradshaws,
To the Bradshaws.
Very Bradshaw. It's wait, no. I'm that's my fault. Kathy Bates is a doll. She's the mother of Matthew McConaughey. When you first heard her lay out this plan, what did you think?
Wait, when I first heard Sarah Jessica Parker lay out the plan to the parents?
Yeah, lay out what she does for a living, yes.
My first thought was, were men in their 30s not moving out of their parents' house a big thing in 2006? Because I feel like that didn't come around until we were in our 20s, like, heck, even our late 20s. I feel like that was an issue whenever we'd all moved out and we were, 25, 26, 27. But yet, because it was a big thing, it was like more and more millennials aren't leaving their parents' house. Mm-hmm. So if it was a thing in 2006, I just don't think we were aware of it. Was it a thing? I don't know. Do you remember it being a thing?
No, but what I was going to say is that in my trying to research Failure to Launch in general, I got more articles on the actual Failure to Launch ideal than I did the actual movie. Oh. So I think it was something that was there, but it didn't become a big deal until, and this is terrible because this is how we treat people. I think when women also started doing that, it became a big deal. So it became a generational thing when women aren't getting married and leaving the house and they're staying at home with it. No one cares about the guy, staying at home with their parents. We'll kind of talk, but it's not a generational issue.
I would say it's the other way around. I would say that women living at home with their parents into their 20s and potentially 30s is less frowned upon because it's like, oh, you're being a caretaker and taking care of your parents and you're there for them. Whereas when a guy does it, it's like, oh, that dude needs to like nut up and learn to be a man and provide for himself.
I actually don't agree with that. I don't agree with that because of society's like push for women to have kids and get married.
Fair. I'll give you that. We do try to get women to get married at way too young of an age throughout history. So
if you're 23, like especially back in 2006, 23, 24, living at home and you're a woman, why don't you have a boyfriend?
Yeah.
Oh, there's something wrong
in college, starting your career or getting married.
Yes. And if you're 35, like the protagonist in Failure to Launch, Matthew McConaughey, who lives at home, you're a homemaker already.
Oh yeah. If you're a woman,
if you're
if you're a guy, no, people are like, there's something wrong with him.
And that's why you're able to make a romantic comedy out of the guy. But imagine if this was Matthew McConaughey. So reverse the scenario. I don't even know if we'll get to the plan with Failure to Launch this time because this whole thing is messed up.
We've deep dived into the psychology.
The movie is good, but the psychology, yes, behind the whole both people is absolutely strange because if you reverse scenario and Matthew McConaughey is dating 35-year-old women to get them to move out of their house, how is that thought of to be a romantic comedy?
No, that he's gold digging.
Depends on. Yeah, I also think it's this way of trying to pigeonhole women into something. You know what I mean? That they have to be this certain way at a certain time, and then you have a guy like Matthew McConaughey, very very attractive young man, you know what I mean? Very, 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 very dapper young man, whining and dining and smoozing these ladies, and then purposely just getting them to do something that's almost like a grooming scenario, even though they're older.
You're right on point. Actually, he's created a system that it's revealed early in the movie that basically he meets a woman, like you said, wines and dines her, gets her to start to like him. And the moment that she gives him, quote unquote, the look, he knows it's time to introduce her to the parents so that she'll break up with them. Because once it's revealed that he lives with his parents, they're like, ew, gross. And they run away. So, he's in one way grooming women to get what he wants. But at the same time, she's manipulating people's emotions to get them to grow up and act more mature and making money off of it.
And that's, I guess, the plan that I really want to break down is Sarah Jessica Parker. Paula in the movie.
Yeah.
Paula has the service where she and then when we're introduced to a lot of the guys, I guess that she had done this for, they're kind of the stereotypical schlub.
Yeah. Yeah, they're all like they're dumpy. They've got silly haircuts. Yeah, she like does this for what we deemed in 2006 to be introvert, nerdy
incel. Is this the beginning? Is this not the beginning? But is this who you would consider the incel? Is this the incel before the incel term became what it is?
I don't know, because incel is such a hard thing to. Well, okay. I mean, it's short for like what, incelibate or something like that.
Something. Let's do some on the fly research. You keep talking.
All right. Well, so I feel like now we have this new mindset of like incels being the gamer bro dudes that hit the gym and they're like, man, screw girls. Like, I'm just gonna get my gains, get my money, and enjoy my life. And it's like, yeah, but is that because you're not making an effort? Someone broke your heart? What? But yeah, in 2006. Sorry, go ahead.
I found what incels are. Incel, involuntary celibates.
Okay.
Yeah. So no, those aren't the gym bros. So that's the thing. No. So that's a different form of that, I guess. Maybe the looks maxing guy or whatnot is that person. But no, the average incel is the guy who is supposed to not be able to, associate with women because of whatever. You know what I mean? Okay. Like looks, attitude, whatever it is, they can't get women because they are this way. And they almost blame women for that instead of maybe fixing inward or outward themselves.
Gotcha.
Outward kind of stuff, but you can't. Yeah.
Yes, odds are these guys were supposed to be characterizing early concepts of incels. Okay, right on. So she is taking these guys, trying to build them up, you know what I mean? And she doesn't do this physically, at least that's what she says, but I will go into a scenario that comes into play in the movie that says I don't think she's never had sex with any of her clients. Unless they've never looked like Matthew McConaughey. Okay, it's because she says that the withholding of sex from these guys that she's been doing the service for, the parents that she's been doing for basically. That's a big part of her play because it builds them up to be this kind of different person to get this other factor, right? Mm-hmm. And I think that is the initial flaw in the plan because you know guys like that. I know guys like that. That is not the idea of just being able to bang is not what's going to drive them to change their life. No. The lust to bang is what I'll call it. That desire, that primal urge. Yeah. That I think doesn't inspire you to change your life. That's more I mean, maybe it changes your life in some ways. It's hard to say. I would say maybe it pushes you to potentially. No, because I can't. This is a really hard one to figure out because I'm thinking about like everyone I know. And then I'm also factoring in myself. And then I'm like, what's the difference between those guys and me? Like, and I'm not saying that I'm better than anyone here. All I'm saying is that I have a tendency to always be looking at ways to learn and better myself. whether that be for the pursuit of attracting a mate or just literally being a better person for myself and like understanding like, hey, you're not in a good place emotionally or physically or things like that. So then I think about those guys though, where it's like in the past, I've literally told friends like, hey, if you really want to like attract a woman, maybe you need to work on how you dress. Maybe we need to work on your hygiene. Maybe we need to work on your personality. And I've had so many friends be like, nah, man, a girl should like me for who I am.
Yeah.
You're right. They should. Mm-hmm. But you should like them for who they are too, right? And you like them because they look pretty, they look soft, they take care of themselves, and they make you feel important to some degree.
Right.
Which, again, is a really flawed thing in dating concepts. But so the idea is like, if you're not willing to look pretty for them, why would they look pretty for you? You attract what you put out there.
Yep. And
welcome to Zaboys Media. I'm sorry.
And we have the very attractive Sarah Jessica Parker to. I guess. I mean, we had a conversation about that in our text chat, and there are some Zaboys who find Sarah Jessica Parker kind of attractive. There are some Zaboys who do not, and I think it was a consensus back in the day because the chat in our chat, it was like, hey, some people think Sarah Jessica Parker's a fox, other people not. And I think that's what it was in 2006. I think the majority of human beings were like, yeah, she's a fox. But then there was a good amount that were like, no, not really digging that. But she is definitely attractive enough to, be a something that you want to grab at. Yeah.
Whatever they call her job in this. Like, I can't remember. They say it one time near the end of the movie. And past that, like they never really specify what her actual title or career is. But no, I agree with you too. Also, I think Sarah Jessica Parker, there was a time period where she was just absolutely stunning. And then there was like a point where it became, she's attractive. And so it's just, it's an odd thing, but I just lost my train of thought.
Yeah, that's because we were too busy thinking about Sarah Jessica Parker,
right? Maybe she's too attractive. She might be too attractive. Mentality's way.
Really, what I was going with that was, if you're someone of that level, of that ilk, when it comes to just physical attractiveness, but you are constantly using that to manipulate people. Yeah, that is not good, and that is not a good plan because that in real life will not work 100% of the time. At least not enough to make a career out of it.
Yeah, no, it's definitely a dangerous career plan to even have because, like you said, people get emotional. Like you're playing with people's true emotions. Who's to say that one of these guys doesn't like find out, flip out, hurt himself, hurt somebody else, hurt you? Like that's a wild thing, but
you're lucky that Bradley Cooper was the one who found out that this was a fake scheme in this movie, and that all he wanted was a date from Zooey Deschanel.
No. You're mixing up the friends. Bradley Cooper's character finds out second. It's the other guy from The Hangover.
Oh, yeah, the guy who got lost. He's the guy
that gets locked onto the roof the whole movie. And if you haven't seen The Hangover, that's a spoiler. Sorry.
They're both in it.
Yeah. And the monkey from the movies in this movie as well. It makes a cameo during the credits scene, which is really odd. But so it's the nerdy weird guy who has a crush on Zooey Deschanel, and he finds out first. And he uses it to blackmail his way into getting a date with Zooey Deschanel, who he ends up with. Like they end up really hitting it off.
That's not a good message.
Well, her character's weird too. She's playing like this weird alcoholic dominatrix type, like mentality dominatrix, very like domineering woman in it. Yeah, and he's a super nerd, a software programmer or something. But he tells Bradley Cooper's character, but because Bradley Cooper's character in this is so one with the earth, he's kind of like a fit hippie.
Oh yeah, that's right. Now it's coming back to me.
Yeah, like he turns to her while they're at what is supposed to be a professional baseball game, but is not. He turns to her and he's like, "Hey," I know everything, and she's like, and he's like, "Actually, I like it." Because I want to see him get right. And then he reveals that Matthew McConaughey is doing what he's doing because he lost his fiance.
Yes.
So he hasn't healed, and that's where everything falls apart in her plan, because it's not that he's an incel, it's that he just hasn't healed from trauma, and now she's manipulating his emotions.
So let's make it make sense. I agree with Bradley Cooper. I agree with his character in this one that it is good for Trip, Matthew McConaughey, to experience something new so that he can kind of move past a loss. That kind of is a real thing. And it sucks to kind of be in that situation where you're either the person that is helping someone through the loss because you don't really know whether or not you're there just for that, or if there's something deeper. It could be either. But also for the person who's experiencing a loss, it reconnection is important. Because if you spend all the time after you lose a loved one, especially in a relationship, to a way that you did not pick, you can get so closed off that you kind of forget what it is to connect.
Oh yeah. Trauma does deep things to the body. And then when you consider that it's like you said, if you don't get to pick how something ends, it can definitely damage you. You put up your walls and you very much lock people away. So that part I get. I don't get why his plan is like, I'm just going to go ahead and have fun with women and not get close. Because like he gets to the point where he gets very close, and then anytime that it's like, oh, she's falling for me, he's like, I got to end it. So becoming a playboy seems like the worst part of his plan.
Yeah, what it is, it's like he's scared. There's that fear. Because if you've lost something you got so close to the point you're going to marry the person, right, fiance, like, then you're scared to death that the next time you get into something like that, that's going to happen again. Yeah, it's going to happen again. So his fear and all of that all makes sense. What doesn't make sense is Sarah Jessica Parker, after finding out that Trip, even though not finding out that Trip is, has lost a fiance, knowing that it's not the same, because she says the whole MO is so different than she's used to doing, but still sleeping with him.
Yeah, she ends up falling for him, and
but no, before that, it was straight up. She's trying to outmaneuver this person because she's got to do her job, and so the last resort is to sleep with him. That makes me think that that's not the first time she's done that.
Possibly,
unless every single client she's ever had has not looked like Matthew McConaughey and has always looked like the first guy that we meet that she's doing that to.
We're just Patton Oswalt.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Oh God, poor Patton Oswalt. Love you.
I can believe that she hasn't slept with any of them because the sleeping with him is a Hail Mary, because he brings her home to meet the parents, trying to get her to break up. And the mom reveals to Sarah Jessica Parker, like, he only does this whenever he's breaking up with a woman. So, honey, you're losing this. He's not, like, you're not breaking him. You're not fixing our problem. And so she's like, I got this. And so she breaks her rule and tries to outplay him, and it doesn't work. And then that's when they realize, like, oh, dang, we actually like each other, because the sex was phenomenal, to quote the movie.
Don't you think, just in she's made a career out of this, that scenario where she is being at least a little bit outwitted or outmaneuvered has come up before? Odds are, you know what I mean? Like, if you're putting yourself in enough romantic situations, like, I'm sorry, like, man or woman, if you put yourself in enough situations to where you're dating people, like dating, like going on multiple dates, all that stuff, like, there's going to be times where something happens.
Yeah.
something happens. So that's where I think another flaw in the plan is. You can't rely on the withholding of sex being such a huge part of your plan when your plan is to become intimate with somebody. And unless every single time and every single person you're like, I'm waiting for marriage or something like that, right? Or every single person that you're doing this with is not your attractive, like you don't find him attractive at all.
Well, yeah, you're right. She obviously there's obviously an emergency escape hatch for this plan that we never get to see.
Yep.
But something we haven't addressed is like the backstory as to why she does this, which literally we're given in the movie from Zooey Deschanel. And she's like, she fell in love with the guy, and he was like this. He wouldn't leave his parents' house, and he wouldn't grow up. And since she couldn't save him and get him to change, now she does it as a way to like help all the other guys. And it's like, huh? It's like that's odd. Another plan that we're completely ignoring is the fact that his parents hire her to do this because they hear about her from another friend, like another couple friend of theirs from the neighborhood. And it's odd because they want him out of the house. Yet later in the movie, Kathy Bates reveals she didn't want him out of the house because she's afraid to be alone with his father because they've been married so long that she's worried that he won't love her anymore if he has to spend all day with her by himself.
That's deep. That's so deep. This movie has several little points on it where the psychology behind it is super deep, but the method in which they deliver, or at least like have like bottled the psychology of it, is so romantic comedy that it comes out of nowhere. Like it's just like that's a huge deep moment that in any other movie could have been a big reveal about something, but it kind of gets lost in the wind of the rest of the romantic comedy shenanigans that happens afterwards, you know?
Yeah.
And so I think there are several bad plans in this movie. Are there any of these plans that we can make better?
I mean, a lot of them are obvious. Some of them were even addressed in the movie. First of all, I mean, after Kathy Bates reveals why they did it versus why she was scared, Matthew McConaughey openly asks like both his parents, like, why didn't you just tell me?
Yeah.
And it's
honest communication.
Yeah, exactly. Honest communication within your family would have gone a lot further. You could have saved a lot of problems here.
In fact, that could have solved it all from the very get-go.
Yep. Now, Sarah Jessica Parker's plan of this being a business and then the Hail Mary, both could have been handled better. I don't think she had to sleep with him as the Hail Mary. No. I think she could have just played it out, had dinner with the family, and then been cool about it. And then, been like, hey, like we actually get along and we have a lot of fun, and realize that they had emotions or feelings for each other instead of the whole like, Hail Mary, we're going to sleep together. Oh my God, it was phenomenal. And now we realize we're in love. Like, sure, you have that physical connection, but
how many times has that been like the linchpin of things, like the physical connection? Like, in my life, this physical connection has been great in terrible relationships and great in really good relationships. Like that's not a thing that is the reason why.
Like all things in a relationship, it's all parts of it, right? Like someone can be mentally amazing for you, but if you're not physically attracted to them, that's a big issue in a relationship. And vice versa. You might be entirely physically attracted to somebody, but can't stand to spend 5 seconds with them if if you're not slapping skins. So it's one of those things that's all about balance, like all things. And that's the thing I think we see in the movie is the two of them do get along great. Like they play well with each other. They have fun together. They talk with each other seriously. So then I think that being the linchpin, like, they do they create the beast with the two backs, and then all of a sudden they're like, oh man, this is it. I understand now. I think that it, like I said, it didn't have to be the Hail Mary, but I can see why they made it the Hail Mary.
I can see why. Plus, it's Matthew McConaughey.
Very true.
Let's be real. If it was, if it was the short guy from The Hangover that was in the role and not Matthew McConaughey, I don't think the Hail Mary happens. I think it's a plan B different. But it's Matthew McConaughey. Like the physical attraction right there is what led to that. And so I think the plan ends there. Yeah. I think once you sleep with him, if this is the one rule she will not break, if she broke it, that's the end of job.
Yeah.
And I think that's how we make the plan better.
She resigns there because she realizes she's broken her rule. I agree.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think she resigns there, she comes clean, she explains what happened to him, explains how she feels, problem solved.
Yeah. And then because even if sorry to cut you off, but even if they don't get back together or whatever, I think Matthew McConaughey, I think then the conversation that happens at the end of the movie with the parents and all that stuff, I think that happens then.
Yeah.
I think you save a lot of heartache for both of them. And you get to the point to where everyone's now being open and honest with everybody. Everyone, it's all out on the table now. Your parents hired me, but we banged, and I'm feeling this. You're awesome. We're awesome. Now maybe what's going to happen? And now Matthew McConaughey understands what his parents are feeling. He has to now deal with his trauma firsthand now through other people. I think that a lot of things get solved if it gets to the point after the sex. Boom, it's over. It's done. We can't do this anymore.
Yeah. No, yeah. I agree with you. I think that's probably the better plan is she resigns and just comes clean. But again, open and honest communication is really the answer to this every plan in this movie. Because like I said, he doesn't want to talk about his lost fiance. So it's like, hey, what is his name? Trip in the movie? Yeah. It's like, hey, Trip, maybe go get some therapy. Maybe express your past with this person that you're bonding with instead of being afraid to talk about it. And there you go. There's another better plan. But actually, I had a question I meant to ask you. Because when you said it's freaking Matthew McConaughey. What if this movie were like Zach Braff and Amanda Peet? Amanda Peet being from Saving Silverman.
Right? Yeah.
Zach Braff from Scrubs.
Wow, that is a really good scenario where it's two just kind of average looking Hollywood people.
Yeah.
Who are very attractive in real life. But when it comes to Hollywood, they're just.
And think about 2006. They were both younger and. Yeah.
You know what? I don't think it works. I don't think the movie works because I think agree. The thing that makes the movie and Tripp's character work is that he is a hunk.
Yeah.
He is absolutely out of character to be this person. And even his friends technically are not what you would picture to be the failure to launch guys either. And they both are. Yeah, they're fairly good looking. Like the short one is the one you would think more of because he's just short and kind of a computer nerd guy.
Yes.
But Bradley Cooper's character is not at all.
No, Bradley Cooper's character is jacked in the movie. And he's literally what women are looking for today. He travels. He doesn't know how to hold a job. He experiences the world. He feels his emotions. He's open and calm about everything. And it's like at least what every woman says they want in this world. But
so yeah.
The reason I asked that is because this is a bit of trivia I found. This movie was originally written to be Zach Braff and Amanda Peet, and I was like,
really?
Yeah.
Really?
I don't think it would have worked. I think it would have flopped harder than what it did with critics.
No, yeah, that would have been bad. I would have not. It's already unbelievable. That would have been even more unbelievable, just in movie wise. I don't know. Yeah, that's not good. That's not good. So I think we need to roll this dice to see if a couple of these plans will make sense. We will do that after this. Hey, it's Positive C, and you're probably already listening to my voice, but if you want to hear my voice, James's voice, our buddy Leo's voice, Will Shotwell, and others' voices talk about what it's like coming from little Zaboys to big manly men right now, you should join our other show on Acast called Zaboys to Men. Coming out every third Wednesday, we will delve into plenty of topics like work-life balance, exercise, all the sorts of things that us adults are having to really focus on instead of pop culture BS like you're listening to right now. So join us every third Wednesday for Make It Make Sense anywhere you can find Zaboys Podcast. And yeah, that was a good little message from probably me. I think I said something right there. But we're going to say a few more things before we move on with this episode. We're going to roll the dice on our plans to make so let's. This has been a chaotic episode of Make It Make Sense because there are so many different plans in this movie, but the psychology behind this movie is what needed to be really sorted out before we can make the plans better. Yeah. So I think we have 3 plans that we need to make better and roll dice for. 1, the parents probably should just come clean to Matthew McConaughey at the very beginning before hiring anybody.
Yeah. 2 is once she sleeps with him, she should just resign and admit her feelings.
Yep.
And 3 is for Trip to just get some therapy and deal with his loss and learn to heal. Instead of using, so what?
Sorry, I said in one of the first episodes that therapy was probably going to be a big key to a lot of these ones. And yes,
we're learning quickly that movies aren't written with characters that are healthy. Movies are written about people who are, it's about extravagant, unnecessarily bad reactions to most things.
Indeed.
All right, which plan you want to roll on first?
Let's start from the very beginning. Let's see what happens if the parents just sit down Trip and go, buddy, we love you, we'd like you to move out, but we are scared too.
Yeah.
Big family therapy session.
Family therapy / conversation. That's a 12. It's over a 10, which means it works. You might hurt some emotions. People might feel a little betrayed because of it. But I think over time, they all learn. Yeah. I think, in that situation, emotions get high and Trip does move out.
He might not move out the best way at first.
Yeah. It's probably an angry move out. Like, fine, you want me out of here? Screw off. Doesn't talk to him for about a month before he comes to terms with things. And I think that his parents probably,
That's a 12. That's a little bit in the mid right there. How are they lasting after he does move out?
I think that they're going to have some issues having to get to relearn each other. And, it's just natural, especially since Terry Bradshaw wants a naked room.
Naked fish room, yeah.
Naked fish room, man. That's like you said, I think that's the biggest Easter egg of the movie. Is Terry Bradshaw ass and strategically placed so you don't see his genitals.
Which is hilarious because we've actually seen in other movies Kathy Bates' ass, I believe. Maybe Kathy Bates' boob. I know she got naked in a movie with Jack Nicholson, I believe, in a hot tub. I think we see some...
Something about Schmidt, maybe, I think.
Yeah, but I think it is about Schmidt. I think she's nude about Schmidt. So, yeah, hey, more power to you. Body positivity all around here on Make It Make Sense.
Second plan, Sarah Jessica Parker, after sleeping with Matthew McConaughey's character, just comes clean, and the two of them
does the right thing.
Does the right thing. That's a 3. So that's... emotions get high. Yeah, everything blows up, and her and Trip never speak again. And Trip probably doesn't talk to his parents for quite a while.
Oh, that's a few years right there. Yeah. That right there, possibly, especially at a 3, that could possibly be until illness.
Yeah,
I'm not going to say death. I'm going to say the first big illness that one of the parents have, that is when you see Trip come back and be like, hey, I heard dad's a little sick. Can I come home and just stay for a couple of days, make sure you're okay? That's when you get that. That's when you get that. When Terry Bradshaw has some flatulence out the ass, and then the naked room becomes a shit room for a second, and they have to wheel Terry Bradshaw into the ER. He's okay for a bit, but Mama Kathy Bates is going to be left at home. That's when Matthew McConaughey comes in and like, hey, I got you.
This is the storyline where his dad passes away before he can share any parting words of wisdom also. So the character learns nothing. He just becomes more angry.
Becomes more angry and becomes Batman.
Yeah. Now, our third plan, Mr. Tripp, Matthew McConaughey gets some therapy and learns to talk about his past with these women that he is.
Wait. Before you roll, I want to add an amendment to that plan to take care of Sarah Jessica Parker's character too. She never has the job to date the men and just becomes a friggin' therapist. Just becomes a counselor and just becomes somebody who helps these men get out of whatever rut they are in or perceive to be in, helps them out without pretending to like them. Her job is now just as therapist, counselor, life coach, all that stuff. She is that, but doesn't have to pretend to like them or to date them or to possibly Hail Mary have sex with them.
All right. So on that, we've got a 3 again. Apparently that does not go well either.
She ends up sleeping with Matthew McConaughey anyway.
Well, I was going to say, Matthew McConaughey apparently doesn't learn anything from therapy.
No, because he bangs his therapist.
Yeah. So he probably plays the same game with his therapist, takes nothing away from it because, he does the Playboy thing where he's like, I'm going to get myself a female therapist. That's not my Matthew McConaughey voice. Hold on. All right. That's what I like about female therapist. I stay crazier and crazier, and they just say the same. Right.
I want to say the same rate, but that's even better.
That too, yeah. Oh, paying your therapist to bang her. Oh no.
Oh man.
Not saying I wouldn't try it at least once in life, but gotta try everything once.
Yeah, we'll talk about that in Zaboys to Men. Maybe we'll talk about therapy on Zaboys to Men and talk about maybe having attraction to our therapist, and that's pretty much what happens in Failure to Launch. Sarah Jessica Parker. If you want to take the bare bones of what she's trying to do, she's trying to give these men therapy. Matthew McConaughey bangs his therapist and causes issues. And if you've learned anything about therapy in real life, that is definitely something that can happen.
Well, I was going to say therapist is not a way to release your sexual frustrations.
Unless they are a sexual therapist. Which even then, maybe they're not supposed to.
I don't think you're supposed to. No, sex therapists are not supposed to sleep with their clients either. They're supposed to educate you on a healthy sex life.
Well, then I have some money I need to get back. You will not get any money back from us here at Zaboys. This has been Make It Make Sense. I am Positive C. That is Jim, the Brain Box Thornquist. We will be back next episode. We're not going to say next week because we don't want to date anything, or I don't know. I don't know what the rules are. Next episode, we'll be talking about another Matthew McConaughey fantastic film where he tries to attract a woman to win a diamond mine bet or whatnot. It's How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days with Kate Hudson and more famous people that we will probably talk about or maybe not talk about because they're not important. But if you tune in to Acast next week, you will see that, and also all our other podcasts. And you will find the Zaboys being merry and having fun the best way we can and entertaining you while the world blows up around you with meteorites and bombs. Again, I am Positive C. Jim, do you have anything to say there, James Thorny Brainbox?
Don't sleep with your therapist.
We'll see you next time. Monowia and stay gold, Pony Boy.
Thank you for listening to Make It Make Sense, a Zaboys podcast. If you like what you're hearing, follow along with us and, add us to your little list or whatever on Spotify or wherever you're listening. If you'd like to hear some of our previous stuff, you can always check us out on YouTube at Zaboys Media Network for some of our past work, or by searching on Spotify for The Locals Connection with a Z. That's The Locals Connection. Thank you again for listening. Monowea and stay gold, Pony Boy.